Hi, my group and I are here to talk about 2030 Palette. The 2030 Palette is a free online platform that puts the principles and actions behind low carbon and resilient built environments at the fingertips of designers wherever they may be in the world. Architecture 2030 is a high-impact, solution-based, non-profit organization that is rapidly changing the global built environment from the major contributor of greenhouse gas emissions to an essential part of the solution to the climate, water, and energy crisis. Our project will explain how the 2030 Palette works and how the challenge of Architecture 2030 will be achieved. This movement was founded by Ed Mazria, who is also the author of the Passive Solar Energy book. The aim over the next 15 years is to have an area equal to the entire building stock of the Western Hemisphere redesigned and reshaped and rebuilt. How we plan and design this new construction will determine whether the climate change is manageable or catastrophic. With the 2030 Palette, designers will have the tools they need to design adaptive, resilient, and zero-net carbon built environments. The foundation of Architecture 2030's work lies in the widely adoptive 2030 Challenge, issued in 2006 as a plan of action for creating a carbon-neutral built environment. Subsequently, 2030 challenges for planning and products have since been issued and are being implemented with far-reaching impacts throughout the building sector.
According to Energy Information Administration, building sector produces 49% of the energy in the US. The urban built environment is responsible for 75% of the annual global GHG emissions. Eliminating these emissions is the key to addressing climate change and meeting Paris Climate Agreement targets. All new buildings and existing buildings shall be designed to meet a fossil fuel GHG emitting energy consumption performance standard of 70% below the regional median for that building type. The fossil fuel reduction standard for all new buildings and major renovations shall be increased to 80% in 2020, 90% in 2025, and we can be completely carbon neutral in 2030. Meeting the 2030 Challenge. The 2030 Challenge can be met by following these steps. Establish an EUI baseline, apply no-cost passive design strategies, integrate energy-efficient technologies, incorporate on-site or off-site renewable energies as said earlier, and engage in iterative energy modeling throughout the entire design process. Based on the 2030 Challenge and to support the 2030 Challenge, the American Institute of Architects created the 2030 Commitment Program. It aims at transforming the practice of architecture to respond to the climatic crisis. Over 400 firms have adopted to the commitment, and firms from all over the country have been tracking and reporting projects since 2010, with over 2.7 billion square feet of project work reported in 2016 alone. What are the impacts of the 2030 Challenge? The targets set out in 2030 Challenge have been adopted and is being implemented by 80% of the top 10 and 65% of the top 20 firms in the US. In addition, the AIA, ASHRAE, the US Conference of Mayors, the federal government, and many other organizations have adopted to the challenge as well.
The 2030 Palette is a free online platform that succinctly puts the principles and actions behind carbon neutral and resilient built environments at the fingertips of designers, planners, builders, and policymakers worldwide. These swatches or sustainable design strategies address energy consumption and greenhouse gas emissions at all scales, from regional and city planning to building details. The 2030 palette is featured in the AIA Plus 2030 online series and integrated into several software platforms including Sapphira, Insight 360 and Climate Consultant, which helps to make early planning and design decisions to optimize energy consumption.
Now that you know what the website is useful for and have understood its interface, we will now explore the custom swatches tool on the website. This is a feature useful for the architects and design community who have made great strides since the challenge was issued. This tool will help speed the process of sustainable building practices and spread the knowledge of passive strategies developed by individuals. This will be a short introduction on how designers can add their strategies and spread the knowledge within the community. To create a new swatch, we will click on the Create a Swatch icon. This will open a new dialog box where you can add all the other basic information such as the name, the topic, or the scale of the project. After pressing save, the page that opens up will look similar to any other swatch on the website. You can then select My Swatches tab located on the top next to the 2030 swatches. This will open up into a new page that has all your previous swatches. The only difference here is that you can edit these items. On the right, you can edit all the written information and text. You can add special characteristics of your swatch. In the center, you can add images relating to the swatch. It could be examples, diagrams, or any other thing. While adding an image, you can also provide additional details of the image, such as its location, the photographer, or more. Once you add all the information and photographs, you could also tag related swatches. You could do that by adding on the left side of the page. If you have any more details for the swatch, such as research papers, tools, softwares, or articles, you can add them in the in-depth information. Once you're satisfied with your swatch and the information on it, you can save and close the editor. This will take you out onto the main page. This page is only visible to you, and the information you create here can be viewed by others only by sharing. This could be a useful tool in an office where the swatches can be used as inspiration.
Hence, 2030 Palette is a powerful tool to help us fill the gap between what we need to do and what needs to happen.